How's everybody doing today? Good, good. So why am I here? What's the big deal? What's the guy doing with the video camera? And why am I here? Two big questions everybody's got, right? First of all, I do this to every ACA section, everybody, all year, okay? And I started doing it 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago when I became president, and I liked it. I got a lot out of it. So last year, I think I taught 32 or 33 different sections, and I just take over the class on a day, and it's mine, and I get to talk about whatever I want to. And you can do that when you become president. And why do I do it? I do it because, number one, it gives me a sense of who our students are. As we have grown, that's a harder thing to do, and I get contact at some point with every single student. So when you see me walk into the hallway, how many of you knew who I was? How many of you did? Better question. Okay, well now you do. Okay, see, how many of you have seen me before and didn't know who I was? Okay, so that's me. I'm McInnis. I've been president here since March of 2010. I've been working here since 2002. And how many of you are from Richmond County? So am I. I grew up between Ellerby and Norfolk. I graduated from Richmond Senior High School. Okay, so I'm a lot like you. So why is he videotaping this? Because we're going to use this, and you guys got the honor being the class that we're going to use to show this to some of our online classes. Since obviously I can't have quite the same interaction with them, we're going to use this and tape it so they can get some of the same information. And you're going to have other folks that are going to come in and talk, but this is a little bit different because I've got sort of a unique message. I don't have a script. I don't have a set of 3x5 cards to go by. And I make it up based on each class that I see, but I have some key themes that I like to touch on. Show me again, how many Richmond County? Raise your hands. Okay. How many Scotland County? Welcome. That's great. How many from other counties? Where are you from?
Robinson.
Robinson County. Where at in Robinson County?
Rosby.
All right. How about you?
Harding.
Harding. Wow, you got a good ride. Where at in Harding County?
Cameron.
Okay, you got good rides. I went to Campbell. I got my master's in Campbell, so I rode to past Lillington every night, 2-3 nights a week. Where are you from?
Anson.
Anson. Great. Welcome. Glad you made it across the river. Welcome. We've got a lot of folks that are coming to us from all over, and you know the big reasons why. You know, and I think that's a question y'all may have already addressed. So help me give me an answer as to why you're here. Is this first semester for everybody? How many were here last year? A couple of people? Don't you wish you'd taken this class last year? Been helpful, wouldn't it? We changed the policy to require you to take this in your first semester because we had too many people that were taking it at the end and they was like, why do I need to bother with this? I already know where the library's at. I already know where all this stuff is. I figured it out. Yeah, but wouldn't it have been easier if you'd have had it at the beginning? Well, yeah. So that's why we set it up that way. You know, one of the key questions is why are you here? So somebody give me an answer. Why are you here? If this is your first semester. Now, Crystal said you were quiet, but you can't be that quiet. Yes, sir.
Well, of course, we're here to learn this semester and everything that comes along with it. How we prepare ourselves, you know, what the battle.
Okay.
Where we want to proceed to get to.
Okay, that's a good answer. Anybody got anything else? Anyone want to add to that?
Come on.
I'll get all sorts of answers to that question. Somebody said, I got to be somewhere. I said, well, that's true. That's sort of an existentialist point of view, but that's okay. Somebody else said, you know, it's closer than anywhere else. I said, well, that's okay. But why are you really here? And it ties into this gentleman's answer. Anybody here for their health? Anybody here for their personal enrichment? Just because you want to learn more. Is that the right answer? Or do you want to make a living? How many of you want to make a living? How many of you it's about a career? At some point in time, it's about a career. Now, some of you may be more altruistic and more better people than I am. I went to school because I wanted to make a living. Along the way, I learned things that made me a better person and made me enrich but you want to make a good living. You want to be satisfied both internally and externally with what you do, okay? How many of you are working right now? How many people have jobs working right now? I got a lot of respect for y'all. I really do. I worked my way through school, undergraduate and graduate school. So I really have a lot of respect for the folks that are balancing home life and work at the same time. As a matter of fact, one of the things we're working on right now with our foundation is a new scholarship program just for working students, okay? Just to help students that are making the effort, working, trying to find the money to come to college, because we want you to succeed. So let's go back to that career deal. Now let's talk about, what are you majoring in? How many of you are going to transfer to a university? Where do you want to go?
UNC Grantham.
What do you want to be?
Sign language interpreter.
Great answer. Where do you want to be?
UNCC nursing.
UNCC nursing. What kind of nurse do you want to be?
I think you're an antics right now.
All right, good. He's got an answer. Who else is transferred? Where do you want to be?
Nurse.
Where at?
Pembroke.
UNC too. What kind of nurse? You know yet?
Not sure.
Not sure yet. That's a good answer. Who else? Got any other transfers? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
UNCP.
What do you want to do?
Art teacher.
Art teacher. Got a game plan. Okay.
This class knows what they want.
That's good. That's good. Because
Most of them.
that's part of what the first semester is all about. The first semester, you need to be sure you know where you want to go. Now, how many of you don't know what you want to be? How many of you don't know? I got an answer back in the back from Mr. Cagle. Okay? When I was in your shoes, I had no clue. I had no game plan to be a college president one day. That was not my vision. That was not my goal. But I worked towards it, and it developed because I had the credentials. I had the degrees. It gave me the opportunities. The best answer is, I don't know yet. If this is your first semester and you don't know, that's okay. But the challenge is, in this first semester, to figure it out, okay? Because what we don't want to happen is for you to be in the same boat a year from now where you're still not sure, okay? We got a lot of people here, starting with a great counselor, Ms. Shaw, who will help you figure out that answer. And those of you that are 100% sure, half of you are going to change your minds by this time next year, okay? I can guarantee it. Half of you will change your minds, okay? Because you're going to realize, ooh, I didn't know I had to do that. I didn't know this is what was required. Or you're going to find something that you really enjoy and that you really like. It'll be that life-changing course, okay? I was going to be an engineer until I took differentials, which is the class beyond calculus. And I realized that wasn't for me. I didn't need to be an engineer, okay? But I found stuff that I liked, that I was good at, that made me fulfilled, and now I've got the best job in the world. I really do. I look forward to coming to work every day, and that's what I want you to do. It's not all about money. Money's important. Money's really important. But it's not the most important thing. Doing something that you're satisfied in, that gives you fulfillment, and that makes you look forward to coming to work every day is really, really important. Okay? So the art teacher is great. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. We need good teachers. We need good nurses. All right, tell me what you're majoring in. How many of you want to be a nurse? How many nurses? Good. That's great. Got a great nursing program. I'll accept 80 students in next fall's program, and there'll be 350 to 400 applicants. You got 350 to 400 people wanting to get one of those 80 slots. So you need to be taking the right classes and preparing for the TEAS test so you can be one of those 80. Okay? It's very competitive. It's the only program we've got right now that's competitive to get into. We got anybody that's in the utility substation program? Great. Why'd you pick it?
Because I thought that it would be the best career choice around here that offers opportunities and advancement.
Okay, that's a good answer. Why'd you pick it?
Family does it, and it's just something I like.
Okay, that's a good answer. Everybody know what we're talking about, the utility substation program? Up there on top of the hill and has the substation. You We'll learn how to maintain and manage the substations. We just had our first group of graduates. They've all got jobs. Starting pay is about $24 an hour. I just talked to one of the graduates who came back on campus today. She's very happy. You've seen her picture up there, Whitney Perkins. She's one of our stars. Very, very successful. All right? Now, why do you think nursing and this substation program pays such good starting salaries? For a 2-year degree, imagine that, 2-year degree, $24,000, $24 an hour to start. Man, that's almost $50,000, $60,000 a year. You know why? They need it, so there's demand, and if there's demand, it's going to mean that we're going to have to pay for it. The program is hard. Okay? If it was easy, everybody could do it. Yes, sir?
What you were just saying about about demand for jobs that people need. You wanna go within the 7, it's always needed.
Right.
They always gonna need you so that it helps you progress faster. And you
Well,
won't
we're always
get
going
on
to need,
every job.
always going to need nurses. We're always going to need electricity, and they can't do anything to outsource that. And we've got some other areas that's the same way. Health information technology. Anybody majoring in that? It's a great field to get into because it's fixing to explode. Because the electronic records requirement kicks in 2014, 15, and every doctor's office is going to have every clinic, every hospital, all their stuff on electronic records. And we've got the only 2-year program in this region, just like we have the only 2-year program in the substation program in the whole southeast or east coast. Okay? So I got companies coming from all over trying to hire the graduates. It goes back to what I say. It's hard. As a general rule of thumb, if your courses are too easy, you're in the wrong program. Okay? You need to be challenged. How many of you here are students and you've got classmates or people that complain about how hard it is? Anybody? Y'all don't know that, do you? Y'all don't have any of those? No, I know none of y'all do that. Crystal already told me none of y'all would do that. Okay? All right? If it's not hard, it's not worth anything. Substation program requires trigonometry and 2 semesters of college physics. Nursing requires microbiology, anatomy, and physiology. Okay? Medical terminology required in the health information program, as well as all the computer stuff. Okay? If it's easy, anybody can do it. Therefore, it'll pay you. Okay? So that's the number one thing to be thinking about. Pay's not everything. Find something you're satisfied with. Find something that makes you happy. Find something that's going to support you and your family. Let us help you explore that this semester through our Career Center, through our counselors. Biggest mistake students make is they change majors after a year or after 3 semesters. And a lot of times, classes they took don't count. And they lose time, and they lose credit, and they lose money. Okay? Other piece of advice. Okay? Those of you that are working, most of you had a job of some sort in the past or are familiar with how work works. Okay? What happens if you're at work and you come in late regularly? What's going to happen to you?
They're gonna let you go.
All right? What happens if you don't follow directions at work? They're going to find somebody else to take your place, right? What happens if you don't wear what you're supposed to wear? They'll send you home, right? Okay? So, if all that's true at work, isn't it amazing that those same rules apply at college? Isn't that exactly the same set of rules that apply here? The biggest mistake people make is they see college as an extension of high school, and it's not. Okay? It's in high school. It's not. You don't have to be here. You have to be in high school. Okay? As a general rule, anytime we're forced to do anything, we don't like it, do we? Isn't that normally the case? Everybody's here because of their own free will and their own choice. And I'm very, very happy you chose to come here. It makes me very, very proud. But because you made that choice, you will treat it like a job. I can give you the secret to success at college in one sentence. Treat it like a job. Come in on time, do what you're told to do, follow the rules and regulations, and if you put a little bit of extra effort into it on top of that, you'll be on the president's list. If you just do those bare basic things, at the bare minimum, I'll be able to hand you a diploma. But if you put the extra work in, you're going to be able to stand out. And when the time comes to fill out your resume and to compete to get into, who wanted to go to UNCC, who wanted to transfer, who else wanted to transfer to UNCP? When you want to transfer to those universities, you're going to get in. When you apply for that job, you're going to have a better chance of getting it. Okay? Give you another piece of advice. Develop relationships with your faculty. If you don't know your faculty, you don't take a few extra seconds at the end and the beginning of a class, take the time to find out when their office hours are and get to know them and talk to them so they can connect with you, I promise you're going to have a better experience. Too often, we just go through the motions. We're all guilty of this, right? We go through the motions, we do the bare minimum, we do what we have to do to get by. If you want to be that person, that's fine. But when you, wait a minute, I've been in your class half the semester, you don't even know my name. Why? Well, you never introduced yourself. You never talked to me. I got 40 people in here. Okay, not everybody is going to be like Ms. Shaw here and be able to put the names and the faces together and do what she's done. That was very impressive. Okay? After just a couple of short weeks. Build a relationship with your faculty. Because when it comes time to put in that resume to go to that clinic or that doctor's office and you want to get that HIT job, if you got Susan Long as a reference, and she's the lead instructor in the program, it's going to make it a lot easier. If you got Steve Lankley, every university requires, if you want to transfer, they require letters of reference. Okay? So build rapport, build a relationship with your faculty. You're not going to like all your faculty. That's okay. But they're still your faculty. Okay? Now, every faculty member's got a syllabus for every class. The syllabus is a contract with you. If you don't have a syllabus, you don't understand it, you need to get one, you need to read it, you need to know what you're accountable for. Because that's a two-way street. That syllabus tells you what the faculty member is supposed to do and what you're expected to do. Okay? That's what you need to have near and dear to your heart, is that syllabus. And everyone's going to be a little bit different. Okay? Again, it's not like high school. So one of them may say, oh, you can miss up to this many classes. Other ones say you can't miss but this many classes. They've got the flexibility of setting that based on their individual course and its requirements. So follow the syllabus. Okay? Everybody already heard that? You already down with that? Everybody good with that? It's pretty easy. Okay? I started doing this about 3 years ago, and one of the first 2 or 3 classes I did was in Lindsay Petrus building, where they teach art, the art class, the art information class. And I had not everybody was as friendly and warm in this class as y'all are today. And I had a lady sitting about where you're sitting, and she was scowling at me the whole time. Gave me the meanest, hardest look. And I couldn't get over it. I was sitting there and I kept backing away. I thought she was going to throw something at me. Okay? And in a minute, I'm going to ask y'all for questions and comments. And I'm going to let you talk. And I'm going to listen. I'm going to try to answer your questions and see what you think. And I did that. And as soon as I said, does anybody have any questions, her hand shot up like a rocket. She said, yeah, I got a question. I want to know why none of the courses I took before here count now. They told me I got to start all over. I don't get any credit. And I was here for over 3 semesters. And that's not right. I want to know why. I said, well, I backed up a little bit more, make sure she didn't have anything sharp in front of her. I said, well, ma'am, when did you, what program are you in? Early childhood. Any early childhood majors in here? Okay. Great program. Great program. Got great faculty in that program. Well, they're good. Got great faculty all over. They're really good. I said, well, when were you last here? She said, 1996. How many of y'all remember 1996? Ain't but a couple of them. See, even Crystal doesn't remember 1996, okay? Okay? And I said, well, ma'am, I said, that curriculum's changed a lot since then. Can y'all imagine taking a computer class from 1996 and expecting it to be worth anything today? That'd be DOS, little floppy drives, and all sorts of stuff we don't see anymore before the internet. I said that in the class, and they said, you mean there didn't used to be an internet? What did y'all do? How did you teach before the internet? I said, we struggled. It was hard, but we struggled. Okay? And I said, ma'am, I said, that whole program has changed. I said, it's completely different. I said, they've had to totally replace all those classes since then. And she sighed, and she leaned forward during her desk a little bit. She hung her head, and she said, barely above a whisper, she said, I was only taking off one semester. I just needed a break for one semester. And that one semester turned into two, and that 1 year turned into two, and those 2 years turned into 5, and that 5 years turned into 10, and life got in the way. And she was okay, and she was able to get by until the job she got disappeared. And she realized she needed to go back to school to be able to have anything. That's a true story. And I guarantee you, I can find half a dozen people at this college today that have the same story, that can tell it to you. And I tell y'all that story for this reason. You're going to be overwhelmed. How many of you have already been overwhelmed this semester? Raise your hands. Don't be ashamed. It's not on camera. You won't be recorded. You only can see nothing. Okay? The rest of you are lying. Or it hadn't happened yet, or you're in a program and taking courses that are too easy for you. In which case you need to revisit that, because if it's too easy for you, you're in the wrong programs and classes. Yes, sir.
Thing what you just saying about the course, as years progresses, things change. Your classes, they never stay the same. Everything is updated.
Yep.
And at the update, you got to stay up with what's going on.
That's
Then
true.
you get left behind.
That's true. That's true. And just like that, those of you that do, when you feel that overwhelming feeling, Crystal, did you feel that way at some point in college?
Oh, yeah.
All
I
right.
had meltdowns.
So did I. So did I. So did anybody that's ever been in college. Okay? So it is normal to feel overwhelmed at times, because everything's going to be due at the same time. All the homework's due. It's like, how did they all conspire to make all this stuff due on the same day? Huh? Did they all get together? All these faculty conspire against you, don't they? All the papers are due the same time the homework's due, and all the tests are due on the same day, and it's like, how can this be? Okay? It's like anything else. If you wait till the last minute, it's going to make it 10 times harder. Nothing earth-shattering here, you know. I got a kid in college myself. He's a sophomore at NC State. I have the same talks with him. I have the same conversation with him that folks had with me when I was in school. And you have to learn from it. When you feel that pressure, when you feel overwhelmed, and you don't think you can handle it, I got people here that you are paying for to help you. You're paying for it. And you got a great asset right here in this classroom that you're building a relationship with, and that's her job, is to listen to you and come up with a game plan to help you. And if you do the things I'm telling you to do, okay, build a relationship with the faculty, just like this, know what the resources and assets are, take advantage of what you're paying for, manage your time like you're teaching them to do in this class, you're going to be okay. You'll be better than okay. And in a short period of time before you know it, I'm going to be handing you a diploma on the stage of the Cole Auditorium. Anybody ever been to a graduation over there? You ever seen that? You've seen it. It's cool, isn't it? All right? Imagine walking up there, shaking my hand and getting that diploma. It's my best day of the year. I love that day. That's what I live for. Okay? It's better than Christmas and New Year's all rolled up together. Okay? Because your families come out there, your kids come out there, your mamas and daddies, your friends and family are all there to watch you have your moment. Okay? And then you get started the next phase of your life. And it makes all this worthwhile. So that's part of what I come in here for, is to plant that seed, that vision, that it is possible. And you're going to overcome it. But when that moment happens and you think, I'm going to drop this class because it's too hard and I can't get caught up, stop and remember what I am telling you today. If you don't remember anything else, do not drop that class, because you will regret it. It will cost you time, it will cost you money, because you don't know when that class is going to be offered again. You may have to wait a whole year to take it. Okay? No good will come out of it. Work with your faculty, work with your advisor, work with this lady right here, work with the Career Center. Come up with a plan that works for you. If you got to work, you can't take as many classes, fine. But don't drop. Yes, ma'am?
I have another piece of advice. Get your prerequisites out of the way. Don't prolong math and English if you need to take it, because you might end up needing those in order
That's a
to
great
take that
point.
one class that offers that one semester. You gotta wait a whole year to take the one class.
How many of you
to
don't like?
graduate.
How many of you don't like math? Anybody here don't like math? Raise your hand. All right, get over it. It ain't gonna go away. I'm gonna tell you right now, it ain't gonna go away. It ain't gonna go away. And for nurses, the hardest part for nurses is math. Because every time they give an injection or do any kind of a drug calculation, they gotta use math, don't they? You're gonna find math in every program. And you're gonna use it. I use math every day. I use algebra every day. Every single day I use algebra. You think I'll never use algebra? I use it all the time. So, don't drop the class. Try to make it work. Because stopping and taking that semester-long break starts with dropping a class. Here's how it goes. I'll tell you the routine. All right? It gets to be about this time of the year, and suddenly those tests are done. You didn't do as well as you'd like on one, so you think, I'm just going to drop this and focus on the others. Okay? Then the next ones come up. Well, that was easy. I'll just drop this one too. I'll pick it up later. Let me focus on these. Before you know it, you only finished half your classes. All right? When you drop those classes, it screws up your financial aid. Didn't know that. You better find out. If you drop any of those classes, it'll mess your financial aid up. Okay? There's a price to pay for everything you do. So pay attention to that. Stick it out. It's better to get a C than to drop a class. I can tell you that right now. Is that not true? Take that C, get through it, learn from it, and move on. All right, end of lecture, end of preaching. I want to hear from y'all. What's on your minds? What do you have questions about? What do you like? What do you not like?
I have one question before we start.
All right?
On the, like you were saying about the math.
Yeah.
In the past, I have had 2 jobs using math. I said I never have to have math.
Yep.
But I have been pretty good at it so far, which I like. So like you said, when it comes to algebra, it's another story.
Yep.
Go to another level. I have had blueprint. You know, you got different levels of blueprint you got to go through, you have to know.
Yep.
Measurements, etc. I had another job which was an inspecting job. That come on the same thing. You got to count containers,
Oh, yeah.
measurements, and so on, that come with it. Like you was explaining to you.
Right.
That's a part of life.
It
You never
is.
know, never say never.
It sure is. It sure is. I appreciate that. Who's got a question? Who's got a question? I appreciate that a lot. Who's got a question? Yes, ma'am.
Are y'all gonna have 2 graduations?
Yes.
So when are they gonna be?
They're going to be on the same day. One's going to be in the morning, one's going to be in the afternoon.
So it's the same time next year, May?
It's
Same
going to be May.
graduation? Okay.
Yep. We talked about having a winter and a spring, and it was going to be impossible, and it was going to be a really small winter and a really still almost as big spring, so we decided that we're going to split it up, and I think we're going to do it by program. And so I've got some folks working on that right now, but yeah. We had just about maxed out last year, all we could do in the auditorium at one time, and we were down to what, 2 people per student, 2 or 3, and that wasn't enough. People complained because they didn't have enough tickets, and they couldn't get enough people in there. Auditorium holds about 960, and we were graduating 305 or 306. So there's a math problem, y'all can figure it out, how many people per student we could bring in. Other questions, comments? Is it what you expected? You knew, is it different than what you expected? Is it better, is it worse? Yes, sir.
Better than high school.
Better than high school.
Yeah.
That's a left-handed compliment. That's a left-handed compliment. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
Scheduling his time.
Huh?
He likes to schedule his time.
Okay, it's better than high school. That's a good thing. Who had another question, comment? Come on. Y'all didn't have any questions prepared for this, for me? Y'all didn't come up with anything ahead of time? Somebody's got something? Yes, ma'am.
How do you become president?
How did I become president? Well, I got a bachelor's degree, and I went back, and right after that, I got a master's degree. My bachelor's is from UNCP, my master's is from Campbell, and I thought that would open up all the doors in the world, but that was a time when there was a bad recession too, in the early 90s. And I ended up getting a job at a community college, at Montgomery Community College, and I taught business. I taught all the business courses. And a year later, I got the job as the college's chief financial officer, because nobody else wanted it. And I learned how to do that, and I did that at 3 different colleges for about 14 years. And then in 2002, it took me 4 years, but I went back to school and I got my doctorate at NC State. That's North Carolina State University in Raleigh, the home of the Wolfpack. We don't have any Carolina fans in here, we ain't Carolina fans. None that will admit it. Oh, we got one back in there that shyly raises their hand. Okay, we got a couple of them. Okay. I like to keep up with who the Carolina fans are. But I was very fortunate, and I learned how the whole college operates, and I learned how to work with folks and do stuff like I'm doing right now. And I applied, and the board selected me for the job. But I wouldn't have been eligible if I didn't have my credentials, my degrees. And I had a track record that showed that I had been able to accomplish things and get things done. So that's a good question. I did not have a dream or a vision of doing that. That was not, I didn't wake up when I was 20 years old and say, gee, I'd like to be a community college president. But I got the best job in the world. It's really good. Yes, sir.
Then again, you were saying how you was coming up through and make the position that you did. Like I was saying, I mean, through life, you have to go through different schedules, recommendation of people, benefits that people will give you from what you've been doing throughout life.
All right.
It all proceeds in like a circle.
Yeah.
If you do good, it'll all come back to you.
Yeah.
But as you go along, beware. Watch your steps as you go along. And there's always somebody watching to reach out to grab something good and you fill in that slot.
Well, that's a good point. I usually say this early on, but I'll leave you with this. We've got to go in just a couple of minutes. But let me ask y'all one question, and I bet I'll get an answer out of you on this. It's 11:45, so I'm between y'all and lunch. Which we worked on trying to get some hot food out here. It's a little bit better than it used to be. How many of you have folks right now that are in your family, that are friends, that are probably just getting up? Maybe getting up. Maybe won't get up till after 12. And by the time they'll roll out of bed and they'll roll onto the couch, watch TV for a little while, play video games. All right. Then roll out to the porch and sit on the porch. Okay? And then maybe roll out to the car and ride around the block, ride around town a little while. And that's their day. Do y'all know these people? Y'all didn't think I knew about these people, did you? Y'all, I'm from here. I'm from here. I know these people. Okay? Now, how easy would it have been to y'all to just stay in bed this morning? How easy would it have been to not force yourself up and come out here and just do like them and say, oh, I'm gonna lay back and chill, relax. There's nothing to get stressed out about. And how many of these folks give you grief for coming out here? Just one? I bet it's a lot more. I appreciate you being honest. Yeah, it's a lot more. You get grief from these people, don't you? Okay? You know why? Because they're scared. And they're jealous. And y'all are making something out of yourselves because y'all got guts. At the end of the day, it took guts to come out here. And the older you are, the more guts it takes. That's a fact. So, you got my admiration and appreciation coming out here. And if you rode all the way out here from Prospect, I really appreciate you coming. Thank you. Because that's a haul. But I'm here to tell you, those folks are going to be the ones asking y'all for money. When you get that job teaching art, when you get that job as a nurse, when you get that job at a substation, making a big bank, you are going to be the one they're going to be looking for. Well, can you help me out? Because they still want to stay on the couch. All right? Now, y'all keep doing what you're doing, and if I can help you, I will. And here's my proof of that. Get your papers out, get your pencils out. You didn't think you could get away without having to write anything down. I was going to talk to you the whole time without nothing going on. By the way, that substation program, I talked to Duke Energy the other day. They told us how great our graduates are doing, but they said there's one thing we need them to do a better job of, and that's speaking and writing. Okay? So as you're working on all of your classes, there's going to be speaking and writing assignments throughout, because every company's telling us the same thing. We need you to do better jobs preparing them to communicate. Okay? Whether it's nursing, whether it's teaching, whether it's child care, communication, speaking is really, really important. Writing, very, very important.
We're gonna have a whole chapter on that.
Great. That is terrific. We're going to put big emphasis on it. Here's the deal. There is my name, and please spell it right. There is no G, there is no K, McInnis. There is my direct office telephone number that will get you straight to my phone. And here is my direct email that I check continuously. And I'll make you a deal. If y'all will do everything I'm asking you to do, you will succeed. And when you do, I want you to tell me about your success, and I want you to call me. If you have a problem you cannot overcome, or a barrier you can't overcome, and you've asked the people I've told you to talk to, and you still can't get through it, you call me personally, and I'll try to find a solution for you. And I'll get you to the right people that can help you. I'm on the second floor of the DeWitt building. If you want to come see me, stop by and see Miss Tina Parsons, and she can set up a time, and I'll be glad to sit down and talk to you. I respond to all my voicemails. I respond and reply to all my emails. I got an email from a student just the other night. I got to respond to him as soon as I get through with this, because he had an attendance question. And so, if you didn't want to bring it up in here, if you want to talk about it later, that's how you get in touch with me. I look forward to hearing from you, especially the good stuff. And I'm going to leave you with this, because this is living proof that I take everything seriously. First time I did this, we hadn't redone the lounge and the bookstore and everything. And I had a call from a young lady, extremely distressed, left a message. Urgent that I call her back. I called her on Friday. No, I called her on Thursday. I said, call her back on Friday. Called her on Thursday. Said, yes ma'am, what can I do for you? She said, Dr. McInnis, I got a real problem. I need your help. I said, what's wrong? She said, did you know there's no Diet Mountain Dews in the drink machine? I said, no, you don't mean it. Are you serious? She said, yeah. Can you believe that? I said, no, I'm so sorry. And I said, I don't personally stock the machines, but I do know who handles that. And I'll see if we can't get some drinks in the machine. Now, since then, we now sell the Diet Mountain Dews in the bookstore. But I made a point of making sure when they stock that bookstore, it has Diet Mountain Dews in it. And I called that young lady back on Friday, and I said, did you get your Diet Mountain Dew? She said, I sure did. And that's all it took to make her happy, and she could focus on being successful. So if that's all it takes, I'll get you Diet Mountain Dew, or whatever other flavor you want. Y'all have a great day. Thank you a lot.